crazy as fuck if you don't want to be sitting right here. If you ain't sitting right here, man, you ain't sitting nowhere.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? You already know what time it is, baby. Got another episode of the Taste That Bag podcast, and I'm locked in the vault with a very, very, very special guest today, an icon, none other than the man himself, Gary Rayson. What's happening, Gary? How you doing?
It's all good. I appreciate you having me.
Good. Man, I'm definitely glad that you was able to sit in today. It's actually a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to have you today. I had been wanting to actually get you onto the show because I think that your personal trial is extremely encouraging to a lot of us, as well as myself. Without jumping the gun, I say this: I'm an inspiring entrepreneur. So to sit here today, in front of you is an absolute privilege, a pleasure, and an honor. So before I go too much into it, Gary, why don't you tell me a little bit about your background?
Well, I'm from Chapel Hill, Tyler area, and I started out just like everybody else. School, had desires, and I got a college degree, but there's certain things I wanted, and I decided I had to make my mind up to get it and get at it. I've been in the automotive business, my body shop, racing auto body, about 26 years. I've been in the club business about 11, 12 years, but life is good right about now.
Okay, so you're originally from Chapel Hill, and that's also considered Tyler, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then I know you said that you ended up going to college. What college did you attend?
I went to Kilgore College.
Kilgore, okay.
Yes.
Awesome. And then I know that the business that you mentioned that was the oldest was the body shop.
Yes.
So what got you into? Would that be considered auto mechanics or something like
Yeah, I do auto mechanics and I do paint and body. Got a little towing service, but I went to school for computers.
Okay.
But I grew up around this business. I've been in it all my life ever since I could walk, talk. My dad had a body shop, so that's something that just came honest. By nature, it wasn't something I had to go to school for.
That's crazy because I know a lot of people who attend college, they'll go for one thing and then they'll end up finding another path while in college. And that's so you ended up getting into I guess the auto body shop. Did you start like working with someone, or did you start out having like your own body shop right off the bat?
No. I worked with my daddy for many years, and then in about 1995, my uncle had a mechanic shop up here in Tyler, and he got sick, so my other uncle asked me to come take over it. So I kind of started off, and it was rough. It was rough at first. I mean, some weeks I make $50, $100, but hey. It was trying,
yeah.
But I hung in there.
It's interesting that you say that because sometimes it really doesn't matter, like whether you haven't started yet, you have started, or you've been doing it a while. Like you always encounter those times. Yeah. What would you say, Gary, really helped you stay focused, to be consistent, to get through those trying times, to where it got better?
Well, to be honest with you, I had got in some trouble. Early, it wasn't nothing major, nothing serious. And so I had to make my mind up. Do I want to go down this road, or do I want to go down that road? And I decided, well, hey, I did what I did. I'm past that now. Yeah. I want to be able to sleep at night, no problems. And in the 90s, if you're from Tyler, it was trying. It was tough.
I think it was probably like that for everybody everywhere, honestly.
Yeah, in the 90s, they was rough. So, hey, it was hard to stay focused. But, hey, I had a good uncle that stayed with me and helped me stay focused. And he I ain't going to lie to you, he made the payroll some weeks.
Yeah.
But I looked up to him, and it really made me stick to where I am now.
So you would say strong mentorship,
yes,
really aided you in that process.
Yeah.
What? Let me ask you this question, Gary. What would you say in regards to someone that's young that you want to offer mentorship? To kind of do the same thing that your uncle did for you. to help them, but not all the time the help is received or embraced. Like, how do you overcome that when dealing with someone that's younger to try to help them?
At some point in time, you got to make up your mind what you're going to do. Now, you're not going to go down that right road every time.
Right.
You're going to face a situation, but at some point in time, something has to hit you to say, well, hey, this is not for me. Every kid not a street kid. Every street kid ain't a businessman.
Yeah.
You have employees, employers, and owners. Those are different people, so you can't necessarily say, well, I'm going to open up my business. You got to learn that business before you try to run it. So you can't sit there and say, well, this is what I want to do. Now, you can go to school all you want to. Once you leave that classroom, you're not guaranteed nothing, but you got to have your mind up. That's why they have mentorships, or you go in there and you learn the trade or whatever you're going to do, and then you learn how to make it yours. Because you can't do what somebody else do. You got to make it your own. Yeah. And so you have to stick with it, and it's not going to always be good. It's not always going to be easy, but you're going to always have the opportunity to learn. And a mistake, a bad move, don't take it like that. Take it as a lesson. Well, I don't want that route ain't gonna work. Let's try another route. And you got to believe in yourself, and it'll pay off. It may seem like it's not sometime, but hey, you hang in there. It's good. It's gonna work for you.
Already. Do you? I guess when you got into So you started kind of running the shop. At what point did you decide to kind of like get your own shop, or did you just kind of keep the shop going?
My uncle, he was kind of. He just did mechanic, but mechanic wasn't paying enough. So I knew body work, so I mixed the two. And then the body work started working, and it started doing. Then I built up. I had a man, I had him loan me $500. I went to the auction, I bought a car. So I fixed that car, sold the car for $1,500. So I would go back and buy cars. I also work on cars and also paint cars all at the same time. So at no point in time were all three of those down. I always keep options.
Yeah.
One job, one income, that's one thing, but when you can create multiple,
come on,
then you got options. But everything ain't gonna be good, but everything ain't gonna always be bad either.
Right.
So it gives you inspiration to, hey, if this is down, hey, let's work a little hard on this over here.
Yeah.
And so that kind of, you learn like that, and you get better.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I think that multiple streams of revenue are extremely important. Especially if you're in entrepreneurship, if you're a business owner, and really anything that you do, you may work at a job that, you have 3 to 4 different ways that you're able to get paid, if you hit certain metrics and stuff like that, and to be able to take advantage of all those multiple streams of revenue, because like you said, one thing may be down and the other thing may be up, and then it may switch.
Yes.
So I definitely think that that's extremely important. We interview a lot of artists here, and we always talk about multiple streams of revenue and how they can monetize what they're doing multiple ways, just to be able to create different streams of revenue. So it definitely sounded like not only had you created multiple streams of revenue, but through acquiring the cars and being able to work on them, and then turn around and go from 500 to 1,500 on a car, like that's really, really good. So I guess this pretty much became like a trend that you started doing.
Yes. So I got into selling cars, doing cars. I did a little bit of that, but then, hey, if it made $1 and I could sleep at night, didn't have to worry about them people in my life, I'm good with it.
Lord.
And so, hey, after a while, to be honest with you, business was good. I built the community's trust, and business, it started picking up. I worked hard because, hey, I done seen that other side. I don't want that.
Right.
And so after a period of time, I built myself up good enough. I was able to buy another business because the person I had backing me at the time, he believed in me.
Yeah.
So he fronted me the money to get another business.
Yeah.
And that business I still got it now. It worked. It did. It worked out good.
Yeah.
And I stuck in there, and I made it work. And then I also, my daddy, he was a big mentor to me because he showed me how to get it.
Yeah.
And he taught me about dealing with people, because sometimes I didn't understand why he would deal with certain people, because I'm young, I'm hot-headed, and I'm like, people have different personalities, and sometimes it can make you upset, to be honest. But then he just said, "Son, don't worry about it. I got it."
Yeah.
And later on, I said, "Dad, why you even deal with them people?" He said, "Just don't worry about it. I got it." He said, "Just keep on living."
Yeah.
I kept on living, and I see people they're different.
Right.
So you can't pass judgment on one or the other. Sometimes they don't understand. They're not just that they trying to be bad or give you a hard time. Understand it all, and then a conversation will solve a lot of things that a fight would.
I agree with you. I think that once people understand something, I also have to grow in as well. Once people understand that people are who they are, however, everyone has a strength.
Yes.
So to be able to not focus on the area of opportunity so much, or the negative of a person, but more so just really working towards that person's strength and overlooking the other stuff, I think that would help people work together.
Yes.
To be able to be, more successful in their endeavor.
It would. Because, don't try to... I hate when people try to talk bad on somebody else. And sometimes they don't even know that person. Mm-hmm. They're going off what they heard. Mm-hmm. Go off what you know. And, hey, you have bad day at work sometime. Yeah. So you can't judge this person's business or whatever just because something went bad. It's been times I've had bad experiences with customers, but I tell them, hey, something went wrong, come see me, I'm going to make it right. Yeah. Whatever it is, I'm going to make it right. It's got to be a reasoning somewhere. Yeah. So let's find it. Yeah. And I'm going to fix it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's how I wish a lot of people would, instead of trying to talk bad on somebody. Yeah. That's not going to do you any good.
Right.
Because you can't burn a bridge that you never know when you may have to cross it.
Right.
So I've dealt with a lot of professional people with money, and I've learned. I've been taken advantage of, but I learned from it. Yeah. So I step lightly in situations I'm unfamiliar with. Yeah. But in life, you have to step lightly in a lot of things if you want to keep stepping.
Right. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. Mm-hmm. So I know that you mentioned that you ended up getting a club, and you've had that for 11 years. Is that Empire Lounge that you're referring to?
No, I actually had a club named VIP. That was my first club. Okay. I used to club a lot, so I said, shoot, I'm putting all this money in the club.
Hey, let's get something out of it.
Let me get on the other side of the bar.
He said, I'm here consuming. I need to be on the other side.
Yeah. So I tired of I go in the club, spend a lot of money, throw a lot of money. Hey, that was, and that time it was fun. That's what it was. Yeah. And so I said, shoot, let me try this out for myself. Yeah. So I tried it out, and it became very lucrative.
Now that's crazy, because when I think of I just think of if I was to get a club, like, that scares me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because you think about, like, to have a club, you want somewhere that's nice, but it's also got to be a place that people like.
Yes.
People enjoy. And it's scary when you're kind of dependent upon the public. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What did you ever encounter that, or was it just a situation where it started working for you?
No. In the club life, it's up and it's down. Okay. Club lives are short. And you get in it, fortunately, when I initially got into it, it did well. Yeah. Did well for a while, and when it did that, instead of me spending the money, I invested in real estate, and that helped me to get to where I am. Instead of spending the money on cars, clothes, and jewelry, I was buying real estate.
Man, it's like we got a wise man sitting over here, y'all. Audience, I hope y'all heard what Gary said. Gary said, I made some money with doing this thing, but I didn't spend it. I took that money that I made and I invested it into real estate.
Yeah, because I call him my banker. But the guy that was from me, he said, you don't have no money unless your money making money for you while you sleep.
Come on now.
If your money should be working just as hard as you are. Therefore, hey, you don't have to work as hard.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. So you got into the club. It started doing good. Something inside of you instinct said, hey, let me invest this money into something else that can also make me money, which real estate is extremely lucrative, and it's a really good business to get into. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming you continued the club and then also real estate to your portfolio?
Yes, but this club, I ended up selling it, but it was because I had made a major real estate purchase, and I didn't want to tie it to the club business.
Yeah.
And so, and then at that point in time, the club was on the downhill slide because they're only going to stay up for a little while. Okay. They're seasonal. Okay. And then they go up, they go down, then they balance out. But at the time, I made a good real estate investment. And so I said, hey, I'm going to focus on this because this is where my priority is. The club it is what it is. Yeah. And then I took that, and I did well off that investment. And
was it commercial? My part was it commercial or was it residential?
No, it was commercial.
Okay. It was Why commercial over residential?
Commercial has a lot less restriction as opposed to residential. And residential, your hands are tied on a lot of things, and you got to make sure you get the right people in that residence, because you're gonna have good renters, you're gonna have bad. And maybe you'll get paid, maybe you won't. Like I dealt with a car dealer, he told me one time, he said, out of 100 cars, expect 60 people to pay you. Okay. If you get 70 or 80, you're blessed. Okay. Back in the day, now that may be a little different, but back then he said, you're gonna get 60% of your notes. Yeah. Don't never expect to hold 100, because that's just not gonna happen. Because, I mean, people fall into hard times. Some people have no intentions of paying. Yeah. But you have to base your investment on what you're going to keep you floating.
Okay. So at what point did you get back into the club scene?
After I sold that investment, I bought another one. Okay. It was down the country, a little old spot, the juke joint, some people know. Okay. And I just kind of stayed right there. I kind of was bagging kind of out of it. And then I found another investment that kind of fell in my lap up here in Tyler, and it's called the Empire Lounge. A lot of people know. I saw it as a good investment. It's a good real estate. I made a good real estate investment in it. And as a club, it does all right. I mean, the club scene is not like it used to be. Yeah. So people now, it's different. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. I wouldn't base my livelihood off of it, so my primary objective is the real estate value. And so you gotta have options. Right. That's why when you go in my club, you don't see beer signs everywhere, because I can cover my bar and it's just a venue. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of options. You have to have options with different things. Absolutely. Because it can be rough.
So, for our audience who may not know this, Gary, could you explain to them the difference between a liability and an asset?
A liability is something you got to worry about. That's the what if. The asset is the thank you, I appreciate it. Because that liability is going to always worry you. You don't know what's going to happen. It's going to flip, it's going to flop, somebody going to get hurt, this and that. But when it's an asset, it's good to you. You're putting it in emphasis of people or something like that. In business, you're going to have both. When you have employees, you're going to have both. You're going to have an employee that's average, that you're good this day, bad the next. And then the asset gonna be the one that's gonna be there on time, make sure things work. If something spill, they're gonna get it up. They're gonna be valuable to you. And you're gonna get both in business, in life.
Yeah.
But I've encountered it all, and I pretty much know my assets and my liabilities at this point.
Yeah.
And I know how to handle them in such way.
Yeah.
And I treat people, but I treat them all good, because you never know. That liability may one day become an asset.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you try. You have to work with people.
Right.
Don't just pass judgment on them at first sight or because of past actions. I've given a lot of employees a lot of chance, and a lot of people say, why?
Yeah.
I have faith in them, and it really take a lot for me to just say that's enough.
Yeah.
But
that's good. It's crazy that you said that, because you definitely explain like assets and liabilities from a people perspective, and then you said that liabilities can also turn into assets. And I just think on the other side of it, the non-person side, such as, let's say I go buy a car right now, it's my personal vehicle, it costs me money every month, that's a liability. Versus it's not making me money, but I can go buy a vehicle that can make me some money and turn that liability now into an asset.
But you can take that liability, the same one that's costing you a lot. Say, for instance, you insured. You have an accident, it'll break you even.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that asset, it's going to be perfect all the time. It's going to take me all around the world.
Yeah.
You're going to invest a lot into it. And then if you wreck it or if it break down, it's going to cost you a lot to get it back.
Yeah.
So they can work both ways. But you have to handle them accordingly.
Yeah.
So you can't get beside yourself with an asset. You're above your liability.
Right.
You handle them both.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this question. How do you feel about social media today?
It's the way of the world now. But one thing you don't do, I do not allow any of my associates to put their personal feelings on social media, because that is a social media. Mm-hmm. You have people all over the world that reading your statements and they thinking that's your feelings. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't, but you're going to get judgments that you're not going to like. You're going to get some that you might like. But you're always better off keeping your feelings out of social media, because it can hurt you worse than it can help you. Yeah. When I go to meet someone I don't know, whether it be a lot of my employees or whatever, if I don't know you, that's my background check.
Yeah, you're right.
And trust me, don't think it's just me.
Yeah.
Social media is how you know a person that you don't know. Right. That's all you got to go by.
Right.
So that's why I tell a lot of people, be careful what you do. You can be, no matter how high you are, you can always come down off that pedestal.
Yeah.
And don't never get beside yourself and go out there. That's like walking in a room full of strangers thinking you somebody and they don't even know you.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with that social media. But it can also be an asset.
I was just going to ask you that. Like,
yes.
How do you feel social media has become an asset in today's time?
Because most everybody's on it. And like me, I use it. My flyers, I promote my businesses, because I don't never put my feelings there. But I put opportunities out there and events and different things like that. So I use it in that aspect, never in my personal life.
It's crazy that you say that, man. You hit a couple points that really meant something for me. You talked about how you check the Facebook almost like a background check. We had a guest on the show who talked about how social media is your resume for what it is that you do.
True.
And then I thought about how you said that you also, post your flyers and stuff, and you promote your businesses on there. Mm-hmm. And I think about artists and entrepreneurs and how the personal page, yes, the personal page, but you can also use it to advertise what it is that you do, right?
Yes.
Rather than it just being all about your personal.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also the business page.
Yes.
The business page is really, really astronomical, because with that business page, you're able to definitely promote and market what it is that you do, but it allows you to use paid advertisement, where you
Yes.
can actually go in and pinpoint where you want your ads and stuff to go.
Yes. Age group and everything. Region.
How has the business part of the social media, as far as like those pages and being able to do paid advertisements, how has that helped you in your business?
Because you don't have, we pretty much done phased out hand-to-hand flyers. That replaced hand-to-hand flyers. We can buy 500 flyers for an event. Go pass them out. People gonna look at them, throw them down. You can pay on social media, and they'll keep evolving it. You can say you spend $50, hit 5,000 people, but you can spend $200-300 on flyers, reach 100, 200 people.
Right.
So instead of doing all that, man, then you got to do all the legwork. Let social media do the legwork for you.
It do it for you. It just
Let it do it for you.
Going. It's on schedule. Basically, if you want it all day and night or on a set schedule, and you're not wasting flyers.
That's true. That's true.
It's
Hey,
cheaper.
times have
One
changed.
flyer that cost you whatever it was for the one flyer,
Yeah.
and then you just pop an ad, and people don't know. I tell artists all the time, Gary, you know, it's all about getting your music, or if you're an entrepreneur, getting your brand out there.
Mm-hmm.
But did you know that you could run an ad for as low as $1 a day?
That's true.
$30.
That's true.
What stops people, you think, Gary, from investing in themselves? Is it knowledge? Is it a lack of effort?
Some of it's knowledge. I mean, because, okay, take it, for instance, the older people, they're not up on that, and I'm up on some of it, but right now, I can hire people to take care of that because they know more than I do and more than I care to learn, to be honest. I know the basics, but it's a whole lot of detail to it that can be beneficial to it. That's just like this right here. We sitting here talking, but if it wasn't for social media, a lot of people would never see it.
Right.
Because you're not going to pay a TV station to show it,
Right.
because it costs too much.
Right.
So you have to learn to work. You got to work with the times. Times have changed.
I was just, you're reading my mind, Gary. I was going to say, it sounds like adaptation is what has allowed you to be successful. How do you do that and not, be that person, really, no matter what age you are, but be that person that gets stuck in your ways? Like, how have you been able to adapt to that?
Because I step back and observe. I know what I grew up around. I know what I saw. But I have to face the facts. Times have changed. It's not like it was. We didn't have social media. We didn't have cell phone. We damn sure didn't have one touch and no smartphone.
Yeah.
Hell, the phone do the thinking for you. And really, you can ask the phone anything you want now, and it'll damn near answer you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, times have changed, and you have to realize with that technology, well, how can I make that technology work for me now? Instead of me working for the technology, let it work for you.
Right.
And just like I say, let your money work for you while you're doing something different.
Right.
So you have to believe in yourself, and you're going to always be learning every day. Every day should be a goal to learn something new, if it ain't nothing but a word.
Yeah.
Because you should make it a focus to learn something every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me ask you this question. Why do you feel there is a lack of knowledge and education for people in regards to credit, understanding credit, the value of good credit, as well as how to start a business?
I tell a lot of people that come to me that talk about starting business, you try to get into it as low as possible until you learn it And when you make money, reinvest it in the business. You don't go in there pouring money in, because every business is not going to be lucrative from the jump. And if it is lucrative from the jump, you better be prepared for when it's not going to be.
Come on now.
Because when you may jump in making a bunch of money, but best believe one day you're going to have that downfall.
Yeah.
I can tell you every year that I've been in business, I know what time of the year business going to be down. I know when it's going to be good, and I know when it's just going to be average. And not one time in 26 years have any of my employees went home without getting paid.
Yeah.
I might have, but they didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm here to see a different day now.
Really? That's what's up. That's what's up. I agree with you. I've learned that you have your season for when it's good and it's coming in, it's pouring in, the floodgates are open.
Yeah.
And then you have your season that can be within that same year of when it drops down. I learned from the ant.
Yes.
Right? I watch the ant. I learn a lot from nature, Gary. I sit back and I watch the ant, man. The ant do the same thing every year. Right? They in the summertime, spring and all that, they working.
Yeah.
They putting it in, they piling it up, and they not trying to be rich and, say, man, we're gonna have enough man that's gonna last us the next 20 years. They get what they need because they know the winter coming.
That's true.
And they want to make sure that when the winter comes, when it slow down, that they got enough to make it through their season until the next season come back around.
And that's true.
So I definitely sit back and I watch how those ants work. And it just, it speaks to me, and I've experienced that. And it's a lot of times, I think sometimes we're not even aware of things like that that's going on to be able to be proactive the next time. I think sometimes we just existing.
You can get complacent. I'm not going to lie, I've gotten complacent before. I got comfortable. When you get comfortable, you settle. And when you settle, sometimes you begin to sink.
Yeah.
So you gotta always be on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to ask you your thoughts on this. How would you feel if there was a group, some type of organization here in Tyler that was comprised of entrepreneurs and business owners and investors, and it focused on, not that it would exclude anyone, but its main focus would be on youth, maybe ages 16 and up.
Yeah.
That would mentor them and help them establish businesses, know how to go on the Secretary of State website, start an LLC, go apply for your EIN number on the rs.gov website.
Yes.
Teach them things as far as like what's a good investment, what's not a good investment, the different concepts and ideology of, saving or reinvesting what you're earning and things like that. How would you feel if there was an organization here in town that fought for those efforts?
I would feel good about it, because it's a lot of things that kids that don't have leaders in their life, they really need it. It would help them with direction, because sometimes kids go the wrong way, and it's not because they're a bad kid. There's no such thing as a bad kid. You make yourself bad. You have misdirection. When you have someone to follow, someone to help you, someone to direct you, then you tend to go a different way. You may fall off a little bit, but you never forget where you started at.
Right.
So that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I think it would be great, because you're impacting a younger generation. Eventually they're going to get old and they're going to have kids. And, I'm all about breaking the cycle.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because if not, you will continue to repeat those same behaviors.
That's true.
Actually, I say the two things. There are two things that I feel stop people from progressing and having a different mindset. And it's a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And then once the person does know, are they going to implement, or are they going to sit on that information that they know?
Yes.
I feel those two things is what stop people. And I feel that if there was more education on these different topics, that it would help propel people to a different level. To be able to say, hey, you know what? We started a business, and look at what these businesses now are doing, and different things like that, and being able to create generational wealth.
Yes.
I think that the implementation of the knowledge received is what would actually change those mindsets.
It really would. Showing them a different way of doing things. You go to school, education, hey, you need it now. It's easier now with technology the way it is. And at the same time, I know it's some little kids, 7, 8 years, know how to work a computer better than some people that's 30, 40 years old, cell phone and all. Yep. You have options that's beyond anyone's control. All you have to do is believe, and I know some people think, well, I got to have this much money to start. I got to have it's different ways. Just like the SBA giving out that money now. The SBA will help you if you put you up a game plan and you stick to it. Don't always think you need to borrow it from somebody. It's ways of doing everything. You just need to meet with the right people, and they can show you how to do it. And how to go about the business, but you got to have your mind made up. You got to have a good game plan. And I floor planned some businesses. I believed in the people. They didn't start out good, but after a while, they end up being good. So you can't believe in everybody. You can't go off every dream. A dream is a dream. A goal is a goal. Yeah. Focus on the goal, not the dream. Yeah. If you want to have a business, what is that business? Yeah. Learn everything you can about it, and then put it to use.
That's good stuff. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you a music entertainment related question. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar, Gary, with some of the artists here in Tyler and East Texas?
Yes, I am.
Okay. My first question is, well, before I ask you that question, let me show you my vision on this.
Okay.
One of the things, because this platform is solely in regards to, entrepreneurship, mm-hmm. Entertainment as far as artists and stuff like that, and overall, being a journalist in regards to the community. And yes. With artists, what I envision is, them being able to be in a situation where, how like we'll bring down talent,
yes,
draws out big crowds, mm-hmm. to be able to put them into a situation where we draw out big crowds, but the main attraction are them, right?
Yes. And
what plays a lot in that is their following, right?
True.
Having that following to be able to draw them out, because if no one knows you, they're not going to come.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So my first question is, could you elaborate on what you think would help artists put themselves in a situation to where here in town they're the main attraction?
In the entertainment business, you got to be sociable. You can't be judgmental. You can't be, you can't just be focused on one thing. You got to be universal. Get out there. People may want you to go somewhere. You say, well, I ain't going to make no money there. Ain't nobody there. You may go to an event. It may be 50 people there, but it don't take one to notice you. Or you can go to an event that's got 5,000, and you may not put on your best show, so don't nobody pay no attention. You have to believe in yourself and reinvest in yourself. If you do a show, a performance, and if you're not happy with yourself, you know good and well somebody out there not happy. So you got to always bring your A game, because you never know who's watching.
Right.
So I mean, you got to get yourself out there and take advantage of the social media. That's how a lot of people are coming up big. I mean, you got to work all avenues, because clubs are not like they used to be. But social media, it can get you a lot of places.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then my second question is, the reason why I asked if you were familiar with any is because I would like to know, and I'm pretty sure the audience as well would like to know, who makes Gary's top 5 right now? Hey, y'all, that's the biggest I got in the smile. That's the biggest, yeah. Yeah, they want to know, Gary. I'm actually interested in myself. I'm intrigued.
Well, I'm going to have to disappoint you, because I don't have a top 5, because I believe in all of them, and I give all of them the opportunity. And everybody's as good as they want to be. But I like to help support any of them that have talked to me. Know if they didn't bring their A game, I talked to them one-on-one. I didn't go talk to no one else. Yeah. Because I knew they were better. Yeah. And I told them, hey, work with it. Yeah. And I'm not going. I ain't gonna say this one, because that goes back. Yeah. Everybody have a bad day. But I try to build up any of them that I deal with. Yeah. And that's I appreciate the thing that Mama Scott and them used to do. Yeah. Yeah. And it did help a lot of artists. Yeah. And I appreciate. I'm proud of her to being successful as she is now. Yeah. And because I know a lot of people think I wouldn't know. Yeah. But I'm not out there. That's not my business. Yeah. I got a club, true enough. But I like to see people make it. Yeah. Everybody. I don't want to discourage anyone. Yeah. But the artists that I feel is good, or even is trying, it's got good faith, I go up to and talk to them. Hey, just keep at it. Yeah. And hey, work hard, and it's gonna work. I never discourage any of them, and never talk down on any of them. Yeah. Because hey, you don't. If that's your ambition, hey, that's your ambition. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Do you have any special shout-outs, Gary, that you want to make?
I want to thank everyone that's done the business with me, the community, everyone that supported me to help me to get to where I am. And I wish everybody their best, and I appreciate you for those that paid attention to this, and I want to support my man. He's doing a good thing for the community and for everyone.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, there you have it from the wise man himself. That guy's got a whole lot of wisdom on him right now. And we are truly, truly thankful, man. It's been a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to sit here with you today, Gary. And just, be able to have a good conversation and, understand the importance of the entrepreneurship route, investing and, being wise with your money and things like that. So I truly thank you for that. Thank you for being a blessing to me in this conversation.
And I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Where can people find you at?
You can find me at Rayson Auto Body on Gentry Parkway. If you like the nightlife, you can find me at Empire Lounge, 4414 Watson Road. Or you can find me, if you like that country jam, down in Chapel Hill at the Empire Lounge.
And social media-wise, Facebook, I believe, is what, Gary Rayson?
Yeah, Gary Rayson, or Empire Lounge, Tyler, Empire Lounge, or the Juke Joint.
Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, there you have it once again. An icon himself, straight from the lips of Gary Rayson. I hope everyone was paying attention. And before we go, I got one more question.
Yes, sir.
I know you like, man, he sure got a lot of questions. He's one of the questions cat, man. Good grief. Did you do this in class? Why, yes, I did. And it's going to be the quickest question I ask you.
All right.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what we do on this podcast, Gary?
Yes.
What we do?
Y'all bring out and try to expose people to the community, and let them give them a chance to give their thoughts and ideas and their life experiences from what I can tell.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put a bow and a knot on that and tie that baby up, and I'm going to say this. We takes that bag, baby. Bow.
That too.